Scott, what do you hate?
Not to ruin it in the beginning, but I don't cheers glasses with you very often.
Yeah.
As far as actions that like pack the most amount of like community expressed into the least amount of work, cheersing tops it off.
Cheersing is big.
It's like there's so much implied in that of like
Yeah.
so much goodwill for another person, and I think that just people come here not for what we hate, they come here for what we love, and you can't love without hating. So in that sense, the opposite of all of that good community, I hate philosophers. I wouldn't be friends with a philosopher. Generally, just like, it's like if you believe in vibes, just that vibe. Ugh.
Just that vibe. Yeah, I get you.
Anyway, we do have a guest.
I've never met a real philosopher. We do have a guest today.
We have a guest, Jordan Kikish?
Cakish.
Cakish?
Yeah.
Okay, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I checked with my mom this morning. So
Swedish?
It's
the pronunciation, not like spelling that I'm worried about here.
Yeah, it's the American pronunciation.
Mm-hmm. Jordan, what do you hate?
I hate Christmas music way too early for when it should be listened to / sang to.
Get as many jabs into Kinsey as you can in this episode, please.
Please, okay, I will. See, what scares me is as I go on aging, I accept Christmas music earlier and earlier, which really scares me. In high school, it used to be only December, but now it's like the first week of November, and I'm afraid that it just will keep going up since then.
I only listen to it after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's really where I'm at right now, which I'm fine with.
Actually,
I like Christmas music for the most part. I just don't like it way too early.
My family listens to it the day before Thanksgiving because while my mom is making food and stuff, she puts on Christmas music.
That's a tradition though. Yeah, that's different. Yeah. Noah, what do you hate?
I hate like modern minimalist art where it's just like a line down a paper and people are like, "Oh, that's so profound." I hate it.
Yeah, postmodern
there
art
might be a meaning
lazy.
behind it. I don't like it. I don't get it. It's not. I
like modernist architecture, like housing, modernist like housing designs. It's not like raw metals and gray tones.
If it's done well, I can understand it and I can see the appeal of it and I like it. But
I'm gonna start taking territory on this podcast, seeing as it's mine now. You say if it's done well to bad things all the time here.
Like what?
Like yeah. If it's done well, like video games that are too...
I noticed that too. I watch your guys' podcast.
So. You know...
I mean, like...
If it's done well, it's generally
I say that about
good.
things where... Like, there are things that I just don't like. And then there are things like the better version of those things I do like. Like, in video games, the example that I can think of is...
I'm coming in swinging this episode.
So I'm defending myself. I'm putting them up. When there's like durability in video games and your weapon breaks after a while, sometimes it's done well and you can like repair it easily, or it lasts a long time, so it makes it feel like it's worth using the weapon. But then sometimes it just like weapons break after like 2 fights, and I hate that. So I still don't really like the element of durability in video games, but if it's done well, I can understand it and I can see the appeal of it. I still don't like it that much, but I can see the appeal of it.
I don't see the appeal. I cannot think of a situation in which it could possibly add anything of value.
That's like I said, I still don't like it that much, but I can see the appeal of it. Not that I like it. I can
so open-minded.
Thank you. I can understand why it's in there.
To go back to the postmodern art thing,
Get your foot in that door. That's good. Yeah. We're swinging elbows this episode.
Yeah. I also am not as big a fan of it because the goal of most postmodern art, why it's called postmodern, the definition is so that the viewer has their own meaning and not that the artist's meaning actually has its own meaning. The only meaning that actually matters is the meaning of the viewer. That's why art like a line through a piece of paper or just a blue square has meaning now just because every viewer has its own meaning, therefore it has meaning.
Yeah.
Which I personally don't really like. I feel like the author / artist, their meaning matters more than a meaning that that a viewer or a reader or a witnesser has, in my opinion.
It's a bold claim.
Yep.
I don't know if... So, one of my favorite hobbies to do, like, period, back when Snapchat was a thing, but now I guess I've done it once on Instagram, is you get, like, the story format of social media and go into a museum that has truly incredible art across ages. The Chicago
I remember when you did that.
The Chicago Institute of Art is incredible. And go around and take pictures of stuff and make jokes on it. And because there's so much substance already built into something so beautiful, like any joke's kind of funny you can make about it, and you can do a whole series of just like it's very gratifying, very fun.
Okay.
I went to the Museum of Contemporary Art, the MoCA Museum in LA.
I've been there.
And tried to do that, and there wasn't any of that type of substance in the art to do it.
Yeah.
And I found that the art was doing that to itself already, and that's like what it's offering. It's okay. I'm here to carry you. This one.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
From here on out, forever. And
I could see that.
And it was, but here's the thing: I went into mock and found that it was mocking me the entire time, and I was really shot to the heart.
Nice. I like that. Have you ever been to MoCA?
I don't think so.
It's different every time I go into it, just because there's a part of their section that keeps changing. Like I don't remember I think it's season by season, but I recommend it. It's hard because it's just so different every time. Different artists do different things. Like there was one room where when I went there where it's just brown Play-Doh everywhere, and I
saw that too.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that.
Like,
it looks like a child's art project.
Yeah. Which that's what I thought it was,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't see the meaning except for that's what the meaning is. That this really doesn't have meaning except for people that insult it or make fun of it. So.
So if you think that an art, like a creation of art is mostly about what the author puts into it, which is what you were saying earlier.
Yes.
What does that say about like creators as people? Are they just like fundamentally more substantive?
No. So why I say the meaning that the artist puts into it matters more than the viewer is because I feel like back when people tell a story, they tell a story with a purpose. A story told where the only meaning matters is what the viewer gets out of it doesn't. I feel like that the meaning is less because of that. If that makes sense.
I mean, I would say that like the last step of the artistic process is that of the ingesting of the person who takes part of it. That's why we call it being congested when you receive art.
Okay, I
That's the
understand that.
point.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad that's a good conclusion to that.
I would also like to add.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not that creators themselves have more substance. I think that although a lot of people might not be good at it, anybody can create and bring their own meaning to something.
Okay.
So it's not that the creators have more substance, it's that the creators are bringing their substance into art and creating something from their point of view, and they put a meaning into it. And I think anybody could do that. Not everybody would be good at it, but anybody can put their own meaning into something they create, rather than creating something and saying the viewer should have their own meaning. Mm-hmm. I'm with Jordan on I like art pieces where the creator had a meaning in mind. And I don't think it's that creators have more substance. I think it's that anybody has substance. Artists just bring it into the world in a different way.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to make art without purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, and then once you start doing that, which is contemporary art, the purpose becomes saying there's no purpose, which is essentially just such a circle that it can hold nothing.
That's why I don't like it as much.
Yeah.
Because there can be no interpretation. Because the final step of the creative process is the creation that happens within you when you take part in the art.
Okay.
Because, like, what's the point of Girl with the Dragon tattooing it? Like, he just wrote all of those books that he wrote, like, that trilogy or whatever, and then died, and then they found them. And it's like, that wasn't art until they were published.
Yeah, okay.
Or at least it was more narrow as an artistic construct because, like, what that world was only his relationship with it, which was constrained to his own experiences and his own relationships with the characters.
Yeah.
And then it blew up into this huge franchise to which now millions of people are having relationships, and those characters come to life with each new person that learns to appreciate them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's
So
a good
then,
point.
what would you say your relationship with celebrities is like?
What do you mean?
Did you ask him what he hates?
Yeah,
No.
he said modern art. He said
Yeah, that's what we're
postmodern art.
talking
Oh, I
about.
thought that was you. Sorry.
No,
Okay.
I said, what did I say?
I don't know.
Forgot what I said.
I always forget what the guests say.
Oh, I said Christmas music.
Yes, Christmas music. Okay. Oh yeah, celebrities. What's your relationship with celebrities?
What do you mean by that? What my relationship with celebrities?
Yeah. How would you? I mean, you have a relationship with a person that you've never seen nor had an interaction with. They're only like embodying a writer's artistic stylings, like, and yet they're the ones that we, I would say value the most as a society. As soon as we vote with our dollars.
Nothing them, I'd say.
I mean, there are celebrities I like because of their, like, if we're talking about like actors and actresses, I like them because of their talent, or maybe even just because of the characters they played. But them as a person, I don't really have a relationship with them. Some people do. Some people are super into celebrity culture.
Yeah.
And
which is, if you're not in that, that's weird. It like feels weird seeing people developing like what are those proto something relationships?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know what it's called either. But yeah, I try not to engage in that, and it that's hard to do. But I try not to relate to celebrities or stuff like that. But again,
you must. If you like movies, you have a relationship, and if you're not doing it actively and purposefully, you could very easily veer off.
But am I having a relationship with the character or the actor?
Both, for sure, both.
Okay.
Because they're a part of your life.
Yeah, I have that relationship. I can see what you're saying. I mean, I have a relationship with actors because they played characters. Like, who doesn't love Tom Hanks because of the characters he's played? Like, being Woody and whatever else he's played. Everyone's like...
Woody, and then Woody number 2, Woody number 3,
I mean, he's played...
etc.
And he played Mr. Rogers in that Mr. Rogers movie. He's played so many, like, lovable people, and everybody loves Tom Hanks. So, I mean, I suppose I have a sort of relationship with people like that. Like Morgan Freeman, like the stuff he's played. I'm like, oh, he's so cool.
Remember when he played God? Wow, I really related to him then. I just made fun of you, sorry. Go ahead.
I hate guests.
Oh, I really felt like you were making fun of yourself on that one, but...
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I agree.
When he played Red in Shawshank Redemption, anybody remember that?
Man.
That was actually real good.
Yeah, super good.
But I suppose just for our sheer love of movies, we do have...
Famous just for being a voice.
I know.
What a life.
That would be amazing. We do have some sort of relationship with...
It's not a good question to ask. If you could be famous for one thing about you, what would it be? We're gonna skip over that.
Voice wouldn't be...
Voice is not bad.
I mean, it's not...
It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like your voice is so valuable that everyone wants to make you rich because of it.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah.
Justin
Bieber that with his hair, right?
It's so true. But he was infamous for that, though.
Okay, so this is all leading up
go ahead.
to a story from when I was like a little bit older than you guys. I was like, I just graduated college. I had friends in the film department working like in Hollywood, and when I needed to get out of Orange County.
Welcome to We Hate Things episode 13. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
With your hosts, Noah Margie,
Scott Bruton.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Last names are hard.
Thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
We've been thinking about having you on here for the last 10 minutes, so it's been a while. We really wanted to have you on here.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for holding the spot while I was in Washington, but I got it from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure you've noticed we're having 2 guests in a row on our podcast. I know we
we're
don't normally
we're
do
having
that.
me as a guest and then him as a guest.
One guest the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not on the same day either.
No, I meant 2 guest episodes in a row, but...
There's a book called The Moviegoer. I think Percy Walker wrote it, and I really wanted to read it because I read some of his other stuff, and he's got some great like nonfiction stuff, and I couldn't get... He has like a good 6 pages, then it gets boring before it comes back.
Yeah.
And the first 6 pages are really great, and it's about this guy who like used to have all these aspirations, but he's like contented himself with a life of just like being a banker or like whatever the most boring job was, and he just carries around like a notebook and writes down thoughts that he thinks that he likes and stuff. And he said he goes to the movies I think every day. But he says like but the actors are like, we're on the same standings, me and these actors. And then there's a scene where he's walking down the street like a fair or something, and like an actor that's like really famous comes out, and he sees like he's walking and the actor comes right behind this couple, and he says, I am not going to acknowledge this person as any different than me, and in doing so, we are of equal value. Like because I'm treating them like they're any other person, because that's what I believe that they are. They're of no other value. And then the couple realizes they're behind them. They're like, oh my gosh, can we get your autograph and stuff? And he just keeps walking. He's like, they are now of inferior value. And I'm just like...
He sounds terrible.
He turns out to be just the worst.
He sounds terrible.
By doing that, he thinks he's superior to other people, so therefore...
Sure. The author did frame it really well to make it not come off that way, but to say, we are all... The point was, we're all equal. Mm-hmm. They're not better than me. I'm not better than them. If I start treating them in like this hero worship, then they become elevated out of their station and into something bad. Okay. Which is what the point you were making.
Yes.
Which is, I read that and I was like, that makes sense. And I thought about it for a while and I was like, yes, actors are the same.
Yeah.
I was in a coffee shop in the LA area, and I sit down.
So jealous.
And Danny Pudi walks in.
Oh.
Danny Pudi, who plays Abed in Community, who is probably the most important character in anything for my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I trained for this moment. I thought through this. He's another person. I don't want to go up and be like, oh, I'm a huge fan, and treat him like I wouldn't want to be treated if I was in his position, for one. But two, like he is something other than that. But I was like, there's a long line of tables, and the one to the left of me was open, and I was like, but if he sits down there, I can strike up a conversation. That's a normal person thing to do. I'm normal because I'm rehearsing whatever normal means in my head for 25 minutes. That's how I know I'm normal. And you can't prove me wrong because I've thought of all of the contradictions, and I have accounted for them. And so he gets a coffee, and goes to the table next to me, and he asks me, hey, is this seat open? I'm like, yeah, whoever you are. And,
you said that?
I did not say that. No.
Whoever you are.
And then the people, there's the previously this table next to them, they're like, actually, yeah, we're saving this table. And I'm like, you
don't know.
I'm not allowed to be upset because that would be implying that he's special, and that defeats my thinky thoughts. And so he's like, oh, okay. And then walks past me. I was at the end, so like the bathroom was right there. And he goes, hey, to me, he says, hey, can you watch my stuff as I go to the bathroom? And I was like, yeah, whatever. And he puts all of his books down. His back, he had like a little solar strap, little messenger thing in his coffee, and he goes in the bathroom. And I looked down at his stuff, and I was like, I could drink Abed's coffee right now. I just could take a sip, wipe it off. I looked around, not a single person's paying attention to me. I'm just like, I could drink his, and every time anyone brings up Community, I could be like, drink that guy's coffee.
Drink that guy's coffee.
And then he was in there for a while. Okay. And every second.
So you've been staring at the coffee for 10 minutes.
Staring at the coffee.
What do I do? And I don't do anything, obviously, because that would be a psycho move.
Yeah.
Just psycho enough for, I've thought through all the scenarios, but this is a scenario that no one could possibly see coming.
Okay.
And he comes and he goes to the other side of the room, and then 2 tables down, the people who were saving the table, as soon as he sat down the other one, got up and left.
No way.
Yeah! Come on!
Dude.
What are you doing? Anyway.
I'm sorry about that.
So after that, it's like, what? Why was it important to me for me to convince myself that this person was not of value? When obviously, because I had to have all of this internal monologue about it, they hold a place in my life that means something, even if it's like it's an embodiment of Dan Harmon's writing, which means something to me. And I don't idolize either of those 2 people because one, Dan Harmon's entirely unhealthy alcoholic narcissist by his own admission. And Danny Pudi's just super cool, man. He's so cool, like in interviews and stuff.
Yeah,
I want to be friends with him, but I can't now. It's too late.
Too late. You can't do it.
Too late.
You had your chance.
Anyway, so the conclusion is I have no idea how you're supposed to healthily relate with that.
I think
it's because there isn't. Sorry, I interrupted you. There isn't a good way. It's hard to not have a relationship with someone. Same thing for writers. Like C.S. Lewis. I want to be friends with C.S. Lewis.
Yeah,
but only because I value his writing. Okay. Because
Just talks about Narnia all the time. Write about a book.
Hey, have you read
Lewis.
Narnia? Yeah, nice.
Nice.
I wrote that.
That
Look, I know. That's it. But that's just a bad example. But I value his writing, therefore I want to meet him. But only because I value his writing, therefore I value him more.
Yeah, something about him is like compelling.
Yeah.
Or else he wouldn't have been able to produce something that resonates with people across the world and across time.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, we're all still just like so obsessed with this guy.
I think people that have talent should be not quite praised for that talent, but they should like earn some extra respect from us for having that talent.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Yeah.
good actors deserve to be respected for the work they do, just like good artists deserve to be respected for the art they make. I think
At least to incentivize them to do it more.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least that. Like, I mean,
To catch them in our heart traps and prison them into our service. Or whatever.
you completely threw me off.
This is my podcast.
First of all, this is our podcast.
Running the reins.
I have to. Wow.
Your guys' dynamic is really weird.
It's very interesting considering.
It took me 1 hour to overthrow one of you. And you've given me a second hour.
Anyway, what were you saying?
I have no idea. I think people that have talents
Should be
should
respected,
be,
appreciated
should be
for
respected
yeah.
and appreciated for those talents. I think the only reason that people talk like we're talking about having a kind of a weirder relationship with like celebrities, like
Keep talking.
like actors and actresses is because they're more visual than like a writer.
Yeah.
Like a famous writer, like we just see a lot more of them, so we're able to connect with them even more than like a writer. Like, yeah, you can connect with a writer in a specific way. You can connect with their writing, and you can connect with him or her to an extent.
Yeah.
But like when you see people on screen and you can see them and hear them and actually visualize them, you do create more of a relationship with them that I don't necessarily think is unhealthy. That's just kind of how humans work.
Yeah, but
There is an
here's the
unhealthy
thing.
way to be obsessed with celebrities and everything. But
I've made fun of friends that follow all their favorite celebrities on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
yeah.
And no
I make
matter
fun of my friends who have a Facebook.
Yeah, me too.
Well, there you go,
I don't
me
have a
too.
Facebook.
but
I do, but I make fun of myself.
But
Okay.
no matter how much I make fun of them, I am no better than them because I like celebrities too. And even though we value them differently, we still value them a lot because of the same things. I've watched Tom Holland interviews before because I think he has a very good, cool personality. And that makes me just like them. Just like my friends that I make fun of, not Tom Holland.
I'm just
I
like
thought you
Tom
were Tom
Holland.
Holland.
I am
No.
just like Tom Holland.
But, So I can't say I don't value celebrities because no matter how much I try to say that I don't, I do.
So
We've all come to the conclusion, individually, apart from each other, that none of us have any idea what we're talking about.
yeah,
Thank you for joining us.
thank you for coming. We're drinking Martinelli's this time. We were drinking Martinelli's. Scott still is. Yeah, Martinelli's this time. It's
Drinking
good.
Martinelli's.
It's good
Yeah.
stuff.
Good stuff. I like it.
Yeah. And yeah, this is the podcast now. This is what it is, and always will be, and always has been. You just didn't know it.
How long have you guys been doing this?
What is it? What is this? Our
Like,
first episode?
I'm going to say like
It is your podcast.
150 minutes.
Okay,
Well,
that's pretty good.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's pretty
So
good. Nice.
so yeah, a good couple hours.
Good. Awesome. I'm glad to be on here. So.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're welcome.
you won't be back.
Oh.
That was kind of rude.
We're gonna move on to my
gonna-
favorite segment, if that's all right with you guys.
Yeah.
Pivot over to
Oh, the
whatever
classic
Scott's
segment, the
talking
classic-
about.
okay.
We know that. You all know this segment.
Yeah.
This is my segment called "Telling Jack Freese That He's Wrong."
Okay.
Jack
That's my
Freese?
favorite.
It is one of my favorite things to do in life.
Yeah.
It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite things to do in public.
It's great.
It's one of my favorite things to do in private.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just sit at home.
Yes.
You're so wrong.
I did that
You're
for
wrong, Jack Freese.
2 hours yesterday. Anyway, Jack Freese was on here, and he said a bad opinion, and I have a better one to replace it.
Episode 2, go watch it.
It's in episode 2, yeah. He said that young adult novels lie to children, and they're bad because they tell them they're going to find out that they're magic, and that then they'll be disappointed when they find out that's not true.
So what you're telling me is young adult now. So I'm gonna be magic.
Certainly.
So I will
That's
be.
absolutely
I will be Harry Potter.
There's a reason that every single that like these expressions of stories that like are using that as a metaphor for what comes like to take a step into adulthood. The ones that do the best are saying that it's like magic because that is the best representation.
Okay.
So this is gonna come. This is gonna come with a question that's gonna come from. I got a couple other podcasts in the work. I have a podcast Empire that's coming up. In one of them, I ask questions that I've asked myself in like times of my own like meditation and thinking and stuff. That came from. So this is just me thinking after Jack said a clearly wrong thing. Becoming an adult is like magic. I'm going to have to answer it first because it's going to make no sense.
Yeah.
What was the first time in your life you realized you had something adjacent to magic you could wield?
Okay.
So for me, it was growing up, you are basically... my working definition of what it means to be an adult is accepting the principle, the full brunt of the principle, you reap what you sow. Like, you have to bear the consequences of your own actions and your own needs and your own everything. That's something I subscribe to tentatively right now. And so, becoming an adult is taking on, to some degree, taking on responsibility. And taking on responsibility is like an accumulation of power. And they go hand in hand.
Yep.
So, I know growing up, if you say the wrong thing to someone, you can make them cry.
Yep.
And the moment I first felt like I had something similar to magic powers is being able to find that if you try hard enough or focus on it enough, you can use words to make people cry, but it be like a good thing instead of a bad thing. It's like you can find words that it's easy to stumble on words that are so bad it leads to this explosion of emotional expression.
Yeah.
But it's really hard, but extremely doable to find words to, like, make someone cry out of joy. And, like, that felt like such an explosion of, like, entering into reality itself that it felt, I would say that, like, first time Harry Potter does magic and the awe he feels from that is less than the awe I felt from finding out that I have input in someone's life and I can make the choice to make that incredibly good.
Okay. Mine is similar. So the question is, what was the first thing that you felt that was close to magic?
Yes.
I guess mine would be...
But not that happened to you.
Yes,
you have the ability to perform magic, basically. Yeah.
Mine is the value I have in other people's lives, both negatively and positively. So kind of the same, but not really. Where my caring for people actually affects them greatly, and what I do to create empathy. So I was saying caring for others and the impact I have in engaging in their lives and how much passion I give to other people's lives actually change how they live their lives and the, I guess, value they give themselves in that I can give them a compliment and that can change their day, kind of thing. Kind of like the little things like that. But also that didn't like come until like senior year, where I knew that me caring for people can improve their lives, I guess. And in that way, I thought this is like magic. I didn't think that, but like I guess that's close to magic in that. Yeah.
Mine was lying. So I'm much better now, but for a while I had like a lying problem. But not one specific time, but I remember thinking, and it was true, that I could just say some words and either get out of almost anything or convince people of almost anything when I needed to. I couldn't convince people that, like, the moon was cheese or whatever. But, like, of things that were serious and things that I needed to, I could convince people of almost anything and get out of almost anything because I was very good at it for some reason. And I never found a good application for it, so I just worked on making it not happen anymore. So, yeah. But that was...
Min-maxing on charisma is what that's called in real life, but...
That's what I did. That min-maxing on charisma.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a thing. That was kind of just... I could say words and make things happen. I could get out of most punishments unless I got caught red-handed. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But I'm better now. Yeah.
That's a good question.
I have a premise to put forward for you to respond to.
Okay.
The term "reap what you sow" is it's an all-encompassing representation of like responsibility and the power to fulfill that responsibility. That comes from like we have a need, it's hunger, so we're going to go out to a field and sow seeds, and then you reap what you sow as far as like food goes.
The work that you put in,
yeah.
you get to.
And if you don't put in the work, you die and you starve and stuff.
Yeah.
We, all three of us, just put forward this idea in which we found we had a spiritual responsibility and the power by which to fulfill it we were capable of, and all of that was for a thing, an area of experience that materialism doesn't account for, and the other one, humanism, I guess, maybe? Not even that. That's not right.
Naturalism?
Yeah, naturalism, I guess, it doesn't account for. But is tangibly and experientially real.
Yeah.
So, the power that you have in that is literal magic. Respond.
So you want to say true or false?
Yeah.
Okay.
Literal is...
It's non-tangible, material. Science does not, other than saying like chemicals, but that's obviously an insufficient answer.
Do you constitute spiritual things as magic? Like, I don't know if constitute's the right word. Would you equate spiritual things to be magical? Like God-given abilities.
Well, I would say that
would you say that's magic?
Me personally, or like if I'm trying to make an argument about something to pass time?
First, you personally.
I would say no, because you're going from it from that direction. But if you're going from the direction of just like we're dealing with whatever we see and we need to start coming to conclusions about life, like we did before, we like formalized thought.
Yeah.
Then yes.
Then true.
Then true. Yeah.
I believe that is magic.
If that's what we're calling magic, then yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start teaching magic, and it's gonna cost a lot of money.
Okay.
I'm okay. I already have some of my own. It's called lying. I just said that.
Yeah, you just
we'll teach you that instead.
Yeah. Magic 101 is called min-maxing on charisma.
I'll teach you how to lie. The main thing is keep a straight face.
Yeah. Good question. So you
Tell
just convinced us that
you're
magic is real.
I don't know. I convinced you that Jack was wrong, right?
Oh,
no, Jack was...
Well, yeah.
Well,
okay.
you
That's all I care about.
You presented an argument in which, yeah, from your point of view, Jack is completely wrong.
At Jack's wedding...
Jack, get in the comments. Defend yourself.
We need a rebuttal here.
Yeah. At Jack's wedding, that you're going to officiate...
Yeah, you're going to officiate.
The only thing I've been asked to officiate is a wedding between Jack and Noah.
That's what I'm talking about.
And a lot of times that's been asked.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're going to officiate all of our weddings, by the way. It's just going to happen.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I could die.
Yeah.
Or you could find out that I suck.
Do you want it?
Or
one of those two things.
One of those two things will happen at some point.
Well, yeah, that's what dying means. But yeah.
I thought this guy was immortal. This guy sucks. That's what dying means. It's finding out someone sucks.
So finding out someone sucks. You're immortal until you're not.
Yeah. All right.
I could be immortal. I haven't found out yet.
Oh.
We could pause that.
Shoot me.
Edit that out.
Okay.
So that's that. Yeah.
So, no more questions.
I have some questions too. If we want to.
Yeah, go for one of yours.
Pivot over to that.
This is. Oh, I got a one that I stole from another podcast.
Okay.
These are questions that I've put down for my podcast. I'm going to plug it right now. Haven't come up with a name yet. All right, go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you had a name
Nope.
yet.
I have 2 podcasts in the work. One with my friend Jonathan. He's a genius, smart guy, and my favorite band is Me Without You. It's this.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're going to go through and talk about the lyrics to every song in the band Me Without You. Me Without You ends its final tour this year. The podcast will be called Me Without You.
Me Without You.
Yeah.
That's good.
Me Without You is one word.
So that's
for the band name.
That's
Me
going to be like
Without
a
Me
series on your podcast? Or is that
no,
a
that's
separate
going to be its own
podcast?
separate thing. It's just going to be me and Jonathan doing it together.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, the most brilliant writing. As good, you can hold up a Me Without You song to any other poem ever written, and it holds its own by far. Yeah, I think he's going for his doctorate in literature soon. I think he's going to do like a formalized, like doctoral something with them. I don't think he's going to do it for his doctorate, but he's going to do like a formalized like book in response to it. And,
That's
like,
crazy. I like that.
Yeah, well, that's what you get when you have smart and direction.
Okay.
Yeah. But we've established what I want is to be a torture genius. I just am not smart enough.
You're just that
I'm a
close.
I'll
tortured
torture you.
idiot.
Yeah.
My torture comes from not being smart enough.
Tortured moderate, maybe? Because
What, political? All moderates are tortured.
that's really what I just
That's
said.
true.
Okay. A question?
This is from John. Is it better to play multiple small games of blackjack or one large game of equal to the smalls? I don't know what that means.
What's equal? Is that equal to Smalls' own game?
I guess. I don't know.
I think he means the length of the big one equals.
I have
to
an actual
the
real
number
answer
of
to this.
small-
Okay.
Because I've been studying blackjack theory.
Hey, actually,
Yeah.
it's fun.
One large
I memorized,
game
so,
equal to the smalls. That's an excellent
you want to
question.
do it over time because I've memorized. There's like a chart you can go online if you Google it. Blackjack. There's perfect theory. There's
Yeah,
perfect.
There's a perfect
Yeah.
way to play.
So I memorized that, and then have been playing like online hands to like establish it to me. And it's been very, very good. I invested in like the stock market's been good for like establishing neural pathways of being okay with a certain level of risk. So if you play perfect hand or a perfect game every single time, I believe you lose. It's either 5 to 7% of the time. And so the house makes money even if you go perfect. If you count cards, you win 5 to 7% of the time.
Okay.
And that's why they kick you out and break your kneecaps
Yeah.
if they find you.
Yeah.
So the answer is a bunch of small ones. Yeah. Unless you can, unless you're dealt the hand and then you can decide, then that, obviously. But you could do that. That's what's not
See,
blackjack.
blackjack itself, I don't think it's fun.
I like it.
So
I like
fun.
blackjack.
I don't know. It's too small. I have never gambled in blackjack, which is probably part of it.
Yeah.
I've done that twice, and it's not that fun, to be honest.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like Texas Hold'em because there's it's actually a game to me, and it's actually fun. But blackjack itself, I don't think it's fun. The theory itself, I like, but the action taken in the game is not fun.
That's fair. It's just not that big of a game. I still like it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you lose in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add? No. Chloe asks, how do you hope to improve your second podcast from the first one? Please be specific.
Please be specific.
Second podcast?
So she knows that Scott just took over.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. How are we going to improve?
Just, there's nothing to say that's not very mean at this point. I feel like better personalities.
Yeah, we should get some better people
Better
in here.
jokes.
But yeah.
That's it.
Let's talk about video games.
Okay.
Not on our phones while we're just being silent.
I'm reading questions.
Yeah, but we're talking. So
Yeah.
if we stop, bad. And then you have to like get punished or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You lose
Break
anytime you do that.
kneecaps.
You lose the income from that episode.
0.
We're currently paying, so I'll give you money now. But in the future, yeah.
There you go.
So get rid
Can I
of
see that
us.
question? I want to read it so I figure out what it means.
It's the second one. Get rid of us and make a whole new podcast.
That's how you improve it.
But second podcast? Is she because we talked about the fact that we're gonna probably make our own podcast doing like video essays and stuff, like our own separate ones.
Maybe that's what she's talking about.
Is that what she's talking about?
She-
Or did she only watch the first episode of the podcast and say, "How are you gonna do better in the second episode?"
That could be it.
But in the question, you put what episode it's for.
Yeah. Okay. From now on.
Boy, I don't know you, and I don't want to be mean, but
I don't know what you meant.
Can you? It's so hard
Can
to
you-
not be mean after saying that.
Can you elaborate?
Reword it, and we'll
And
get back
ask
to you.
again next in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
No,
We
they-
answered it to
we-
our best ability.
Yeah.
So get rid of us and make a whole new podcast is the answer.
That's the answer. Yeah.
What I like so far about this is the medium.
Yeah, the
Like
podcast.
podcast. Okay, yeah.
No, I like podcasts.
So not the
Podcast
That's
actual
the
is-
podcast.
crossover. Yes.
Not the actual
Podcast,
podcast,
yeah.
but the fact that it
If
is
there was
podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
things I liked, things I didn't like,
It's a podcast.
it's podcast is in that the only one in that.
Great.
Is the-
Thank you.
John, we're just gonna go through all of them real quick, and then you can do yours.
Sure.
John again, he asked,
Different John. I wouldn't know him because I'm the guest, but
"Is this a different
It's a
John?"
different John.
Oh, okay. The John first time asks, "What are your thoughts on the near limitless amount of tech that younger and younger kids have access to?"
yeah, I don't like it. That's my answer.
Someone else in here this is kind of pertains to it asks, Taylor is his name? Should there be an age limit before someone can use social media? If so, then how old?
It's a different question, but it is in the same category.
Very different if you're like, should a parent this way, or should the government regulate in this way
That's
as well?
I'm thinking about more parenting, in terms of. Okay, I'm not a parent, but
I think
I don't think kids should be allowed to be in social media until at least high school, in my opinion.
social media, I'd say like at least 13 years old.
Yeah.
How old were you guys when you got social media?
Like 13.
Okay.
I was 12 when I got Instagram.
I think I might have
I
gotten
wasn't in
it.
high school anymore. I'm anymore.
I
was in
think
high school
I
yet.
got a Snapchat when I was like 10, but I didn't like use it.
You think been a net positive or net negative on your life?
It's hard to tell because it had so much of both.
I never got that into social media as the thing, so kind of neither.
Social.
Like-
I have been in social media before. I not so much anymore.
Candle blew out.
Oh no.
I forgot your password again.
You think that's the time to?
It's
This
fine.
is the time to tell you.
Well, pointing at stuff. Got any more Martinellis?
We do. You want,
No,
do you want
it's
some
fine.
more?
Just pointing at stuff.
I had it. I used to be very into social media.
Keep
Why?
on. I'm listening.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I
I'm
just got
listening.
distracted by
Disappointing.
what you said.
This is how we run the podcast.
Sorry.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I've never watched an episode of your guys' podcast, so. And I think it has had more negatives,
Don't mind me.
to society, just
Tired.
because I think people put too much value in what they see and compare it to themselves for it to be better.
When you say people, you mean you, right?
I mean
Because I'm asking about you.
personal experience and for people I've talked about this with.
So, okay, so you too. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a big thing with social media is just comparing yourself to other people. And it's
That's
bad.
why I think
Yeah.
it's more bad than good, because we set a societal standard of what this is a good life, and since my life isn't that good, therefore my life has different less value.
Are you implying that I would be on social media more if I could measure up in the comparison game better?
No.
Because I'd say that.
Wait, can you say that again?
If I was able to, in comparing myself in the free market of social
Okay.
value, just like win, I'd be like, yeah, I might as well just win this game.
If you try, if you see,
Trying.
yeah, if you see social media as a game, there is a winning. But that's the thing; it's not a game.
Kind of seems like a game.
It kind of seems like a game.
There's
It
rules,
kind of
you
is a
break
game.
them, you lose.
It kind of is a game, just with different consequences than a normal game.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a game, though.
I answered the question.
I just never liked social media that much, except for like memes and stuff.
That's the right way to use social media.
Yeah. I mean, I barely ever even post on Instagram.
Yeah, I think if people hate themselves more, if people don't like themselves more because of what they see in it, and they post a higher standard for people because of what they post, then it's bad.
But the other
Therefore, high school is a good way to experience that because that's how you learn.
the other question being about just technology itself, I think kids should have access to technology. that like newer technology,
Yeah, what
because you're gonna
technology,
need
though?
it growing up into it though. Like kids that you can use iPhones now. Like I think that's a good thing because technology is only gonna progress faster and faster. So I think they need to stay up to date on it. It should be, I think it should be, I guess, regulated by the parents saying, hey, go outside and play with your brother and, I don't know, play baseball or whatever. But I think kids should have access to technology, yeah.
Depends on what technology is the question.
Like what?
Like
what wouldn't you let, right now, what wouldn't you let your kid?
I wouldn't buy an iPad for my 3-year-old because I wouldn't want them to be distracted on it.
I left your hero medal at home for that. Sorry.
I would.
What?
I would just
Mr.
regulate
Not
it.
buying an iPad for his 3-year-old over here.
I answered his question.
What a brave move.
I would just regulate it. I would just
Reestablishing
be like,
it as a hostile
go
environment.
outside.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
hey, you can like.
But
if-
that's my role as the guest.
obviously, this is if I could afford it. Obviously, I would buy my kid an iPad and be like, yeah, but you also have to go outside and play. But you can have an iPad.
That's a better
Yeah.
thing. Yep.
What would you do?
Well, you gotta be more specific. That question's been
Nope, that-
Wayne Jangle all over the
It
place.
has been, especially because I threw a completely separate
What is-
question.
what's happening
I
right
didn't
now?
realize it was
Well,
separate
you
until
did.
I
Well, you
already
did.
said it. So, kids having access to like newer and newer technology.
I'm gonna give my kids at birth Neuralink in the brain.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. No, that's good.
See if I want it for myself.
Yeah,
how
that's
it
fine.
changes them.
As
growing
long
up.
as they also go outside and play.
Well, watch outside their brain as they connect to to like the Wi-Fi and go play on the internet. Just kind of like sitting there.
Yeah.
It's outside. You're gonna throw their bodies on the curb while they do that?
Yeah.
That's parenting.
That's parenting for you.
That's just get that vitamin D, kid.
Next
Yeah,
question.
Next question.
Where do babies come from?
Where did baby cuz?
The
Baby cuz come
last,
from?
the last 15 minutes, I just can't talk.
Baby cuz.
Who asked that?
Tim?
Tim.
His name is Tim. I don't know him.
You don't know him. Do you know him?
This is, yeah, I was just asking.
I'm not.
I didn't ask-
A stranger to all of us asked where babies come from.
I didn't I didn't put a question thing up on Instagram this time, so I didn't get any questions.
He goes to Biola.
I just didn't put one up.
Oh, so he probably doesn't know.
Yeah.
Sex.
Yeah, there you go.
Sex,
You're
yeah,
welcome.
you should
Yeah.
probably know.
Yeah.
Do you have games on your phone? Some John, they're the same John as last time asks. Not the first John.
I'm checking
The
if I
second
have games
John,
on
it's
my
the
phone.
same one.
Yeah.
I have Words with
I
Friends.
have a game on my phone, I think.
I have Minesweeper. I have Tetris, and that's basically
I
it.
still have that Samsara Room game, but I haven't played it in. Remember that?
What?
The box one, that series that we used to play. This one.
Oh, the escape rooms.
Yeah, I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah,
But
I believe
it's still, I just don't really play games on my phone.
You have games on your phone?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Okay.
What are they?
There's one that a finance podcast recommended called Luminosity, which is like it's like a narratively structured like puzzle game.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, that's really cool.
Cool.
The soundtrack is awesome.
Luminosity.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Any other questions?
No, that was that from,
That's all the questions.
from there.
Scott, do you have any questions?
Scott, you have some more stuff, right?
Here's one. If you were gonna break bad, how would you do it? You know what I mean? Like, Breaking Bad science teacher was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna ignore all morals and try to like get as much money or power as possible. So he makes meth.
Yeah.
How would you break bad?
Launder money
So
through my
are you-
restaurant.
So are you saying
Hmm.
the breaking? So you're saying cooking meth, right?
Break bad. No.
How would you cook meth?
No. How would you, with your skill set, you don't know how to cook meth.
Yeah.
If you did it, you wouldn't be great at it, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't have the skills to do that.
But if
Or
you were
not.
just gonna be like morals out the window, how are you going to?
Make money.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Good answer I heard on the podcast that I stole this from. Bad therapist. Great
Oh. To make
way
people
to break
keep
bad.
coming back?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Keep them in like constant like
That's
need
really
of
good.
you, and then make them like debilitatingly like connected to you.
Dependent
Yeah,
on you.
and then you can just rank those prizes up. They can't leave.
True.
Give them a bunch of like pills to take.
That is the worst thing you could do.
Ooh, that's moving.
What?
Your button's moving.
Yeah.
Oh, that laptop?
Does that
That thing like doesn't work anymore.
man?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I don't know if this is recording anymore.
It is. It's just we usually check it every now and then.
It's very unprofessional.
That's true. What's your answer to the question?
What question?
The break.
Oh, how would I break bad?
Yeah.
Bad therapist is a very good answer.
Mm-hmm. I really like that answer.
Yeah, that's super good.
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of ways to do it.
My answer is I would start a cult.
That's also.
I spent so many years actively trying to not start a cult. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. If you were in a youth group in an evangelical church, you were basically in a cult.
Okay.
There's something so close to a cult. I also don't think necessarily cults are bad. Although,
I think they're bad.
Who knows? Well, depends on how you define cult, I guess.
The definition of a cult.
All religions were once a cult.
Definition of religion and cult.
Yeah.
People.
It's not gonna be a popular opinion, but it's like, to what degree do you see people in the evangelical church struggling to have healthy relationships with the leadership structure of that church, to the degree that they err towards unhealthy, is the degree that you're erring towards cult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's basically the same thing as bad therapist, but bad
community
church leader,
community.
And a bad church leader is cult leader. So that's why I'd be like, break bad as a cult. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'd join it just for fun.
It would be fun.
Yeah, it would.
I don't know the answer to that question just because I would really need to think about it.
With my skill set, it would be just laundering money through a restaurant. Eventually.
How would you make the money you were laundering?
I'd probably not skim, but I'd probably be like, I'd take a percentage if you want to launder through me.
Oh, you would offer laundering services.
I would be laundering, yes.
You would be the launderer.
I would be the laundry.
You are the laundry.
You make eye contact with your mom when you said that or something? No. You just right behind the camera?
You're the laundromat.
I would launder money through my restaurant.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we've gone too hostile to ask them. We need a buffer. Well, who's your I think you might have asked this on here. The character in any book or movie or TV that you like connect with most, or you most want to be like?
You said that for Avatar exclusively.
Oh yeah. Some anonymous person asked that.
I was telling you.
Cut this out.
No, I was telling you that we've been asked that question anonymously before.
If it was harder to take over the podcast, I was definitely going to challenge you to an Aggie Kai, but I think you have to firebend for those.
Because I was about to say two non-firebenders just going
with big lighters trying to catch each other's hair on fire.
You'd win.
I'm so flammable.
You do have a lot of hair.
That's what I'm saying.
You have a lot of hair.
I'm
to
done. Okay, so why?
So any character I would relate to, or any character I would want to be.
Mm-hmm. Like I would want to be Samuel Hamilton from East of Eden.
Okay. Yes.
But I'm not, because I can't content my life with I can't. I'm too internally aggressive.
Yeah.
To do that. Yeah.
Yeah. His character is already developed by the time we meet him in the book, right?
Yes, but not all the way. He has an arc, yeah.
So mine would be just straight up Iroh.
Yeah, I feel like everyone wants to be Iroh. That's
so I think the answer to who would you want to be is people that don't even have to grow anymore.
That was Iroh, and the prodigal son moment at the end when Zuko comes back, I'd give him another scar just to remind him. That's why I'm not Iroh.
That's not Iroh.
That's Iroh. That's not, yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Well,
yeah. Sokka, just so that I can have be the funny guy.
Yeah, except for Sokka's also not funny and the worst character by far.
See, here's the thing. Unfortunately, this is bad for me. Out of all the characters in the show, I would be Sokka.
You're most like Sokka.
Yeah, it's bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's fine.
It's bad. He gets better, but it's not great.
Yeah, but they're like, characters aren't real, so it's better to be anyone that's written well than... Sokka's written well.
Yeah.
Than to be a human.
I mean, he develops well, and that sword episode is dope. So.
The sword episode's good.
Yeah.
But I can't believe they made him lose his sword.
I know, it's such a
no
bummer.
reason. It never comes up again.
No.
It's just to spite him. So funny.
Weird.
Somebody I would want to be, though, and this is
I'm like going through all the TV shows I've ever watched.
Atticus
or movies.
Finch, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Ooh, yeah.
That's somebody I would want to be, but apparently in the second one, she wrote
To Kill a
another
Mockingbird 2?
No, she wrote another one, like, semi-recently.
I forgot what it's called.
Something about a
Set a
watchtower.
Watchman.
To
Set
Set
a
a Watchman,
Watchman,
yes.
yeah.
Apparently he's, like, racist in that. The character.
Yeah. Well, that's
And,
not to not be expected.
yeah.
If it's set in the same era.
He just wasn't racist. He was, like, not explicitly, but he, like, just wasn't racist in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
He defends the black guy's life.
Yeah.
They're gonna kill him. So in the first, in To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus Finch, not To Set a Watchman.
I'd say,
Because she, like, changed it, and it got bad reviews,
yeah.
To Set a Watchman. It got bad
Yeah.
reviews.
yeah.
I don't think it's a set of Watchmen, or else I would connect it to Watchmen too much.
It's something Watcher,
That's it.
Is it?
The Set of Watchmen.
Okay.
I think.
Did you watch the HBO Watchmen?
No.
I watched the first episode. It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Graphic
I'd
novel's
say
better.
Andy
Yeah.
Dwyer from Parks and Rec, just because he doesn't have a care in the world.
You said that I heard Dwight Schrute, and I'm like, you go.
Nah.
okay,
Andy
Schrute
Dwyer
doesn't have
from
a
Parks
care
and
in the
Rec,
world.
just because he doesn't have a care in the world and he's having
Yeah,
the most fun.
he's a good character.
But yeah,
Okay. Great characters. All
yeah.
great characters. all
Ben
around.
from Parks and Rec,
why?
Oh, interesting.
because I like him.
Because he's top rated in the world for Catan, maybe?
That's why.
That's true. Is that actually like a thing?
Yeah.
Stop right.
Because they go to his bachelor party.
That was
and end early, yeah.
They make fun of him for that. That's a good bachelor party. I'd love to have that bachelor
Yeah.
party.
I've given the bachelor party before.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's that.
Which, this comes from the podcast idea, the Inappropriately Familiar for the Internet podcast, where you ask questions that you shouldn't admit or talk about in public, but
And
you
we're
do
gonna
anyway.
broadcast
So
it
we have
to
bad boundaries.
the whole internet.
All 14 people.
21 now. Thank you for 21 subscribers. I guess whatever. Who cares?
And only like 2 of them make it to the end.
Yeah, which is me and you.
I had a conversation when I was moving back down to Washington. I had like people all the way down the coast, and I had a conversation where basically I asked everybody, "What's the most important thing you've learned in the last 2 years?" And somebody said to love themselves more, and I had a very long conversation where they said, like, "What's the difference between liking yourself more and loving yourself more? What's the difference?" So we ended on a question that's a very hard question to ask. What makes you like yourself more?
What makes you like yourself more?
Yeah.
That is a good question. Do you have an answer?
No, I definitely have not prepped for this. It was very hard at the time. I did not think about it until you asked that, and now I'm like, crap.
You're just thinking about, I'm going to ask...
It's just on my list of questions that like have produced some kind
Okay.
of fruit in the past.
I have an answer. This has happened like within the last year, but something that makes me like myself more and be like, oh wow, it just makes me like myself more. There are times when I wanted to, how do I phrase this? Do the morally right thing for the sake of it being morally right, not for any other reason, just because it is the morally correct thing to do. And then I make that decision and just for that sake, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that I did that, without having to like think about it and be like, oh, but I don't really get anything out of this. It was just the right thing to do, and I wanted to do it because it was the right thing to do. So that's my answer. That's an answer.
Yeah.
There are more, but
Makes you like yourself.
It's hard to do.
yeah.
And
And it's not like that happens all the time, but that has happened more within like the last year that I've noticed at least.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I enjoyed that.
when I find something that I like and I'm interested in, and I set out to pursue it, and I actually follow through on it, it makes me like myself more.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So, like I've been wanting
Completing a goal.
I've been wanting to write since I was my senior year of high school. I was like, I think I'm supposed to write a book, whatever that means. And then I'd have like a great idea, and then I'd be like, I should save that idea for when I'm actually capable of writing. And then all that energy behind it, all the stuff that makes it cool, like goes away, and you lose that. And then so
Yeah.
I started with the thing that made me start is doing like D&D campaigns,
Yep.
and now I'm actually like sitting down and putting words on paper, and now I have all this energy behind this stuff, and part of me is like, I'm upset because now I don't get these stories I don't want to write to be good, because the first ones basically have to be bad.
Yeah.
So instead of sacrificing the stories that got sacrificed to time, I could have sacrificed them on first drafts that turn out to be bad, so that I was capable of writing now. But it's such a difficult writing, such a difficult process that now that I'm sitting down and doing it, like, yeah, it makes me like myself more.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'd say for me, it always has to do with every possible answer that I just kind of came up with. Always had to do with people. Either if I'm in a community or just in a group of people, no matter big or small, and I make one person laugh, or I make the whole thing laugh, or if I continue a conversation, or if it just ends up being a really good time, I think I do like myself more in that I know I've contributed to someone's happiness, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if I have a good time, because in that I think I like myself more in that I don't have to have a good time, more of a good time if it's in the expense of someone else's happiness. So I like myself more if I am more likely to sacrifice my own good time for someone else's happiness. And that's getting easier and easier, so yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So here's the kicker to the question. How do you love yourself more?
Yep. It's a different question, all right?
Yeah.
Do you have an answer?
Yeah, but I want to hear yours, even just like throw out an answer, because the couple people I've had done these questions with have generally had the same answer to this. I'd be interested to know if you will as well.
The same answer?
Yeah.
Huh.
Similar enough that they overlap.
How do I love myself more? I was just going to steal yours, so.
What's mine?
I don't know,
We haven't
whatever
heard
it
it yet,
was.
so
Oh, you were just going to steal mine.
Yeah.
So we can't
Oh, well,
steal
that's cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the trick from the conversation with that is that liking yourself, you can have it be something that like happens because of something else, but love doesn't get to know bounds, or love doesn't get to put rules on why you give it.
Okay.
Love has to be outside of context. Where liking almost has to be inside of context.
Right.
You can love someone that you don't like. So, as far as the conversations I had, people have said, and I agree, the only way to love yourself more is to receive love from others. And the only way to consistently have love for yourself is to know the love of God.
Yes.
Yeah, I was forming an idea, and it was basically just going to be closer to God. Like, it was a pretty basic answer, but that would pretty much be.
Yeah, I belief I've had since high school is you can't love yourself until you've accepted love yourself, and I just couldn't connect the dots, I guess.
Sure. I mean, I've heard you say that a bunch of times too.
Okay, there you go.
You're not lying. I'll vouch for you.
But yeah, I think it is impossible to love yourself. Just to start until you accept the love from others, and the more love you've accepted, the more you are capable to love yourself, and then you can even love others because of that. So it's a huge, awesome spiral, and it's easy to fall, but it's also not easy to come back up, but it's also easy to it's kind of like how muscles is muscle memory, where it's easy to remember how good it was to accept love if you do fall. So yeah, that's my answer.
It's an interesting situation that happened when I was in Orcus, where I became really good friends with this guy, and he was talking about like things that he does to benefit himself, and he wouldn't use the word spiritually, but basically spiritually. And he said, yeah, he goes out on hikes, and that like helps like refresh him and like restart him. What's that mean?
Yeah.
And he goes, there's like you go out there and like getting away from like society and stuff. He said there's love out there, and if you go out there and like listen for it and look for it, you can find it and like let it into yourself. Fully non-religious person, fully amongst the tree hippie peoples.
Yeah.
But it's like, and he goes like, yeah, and once you find it, you find out that it's everywhere, and there's just this constant love that's ever present, that's not from anyone, like any person, and it's just like this force. It's like, what a ratchet to throw into your life, just to be like, well, people who aren't like me have experiences of God, and this is like what that looks like.
Yeah.
But the knowledge that without anyone, it's an interesting data point for me to collect, that without anyone telling someone, go look for the love of God, which is ever present and permeates through all of creation, like you can stumble upon it by going on a hike. Like that's a really incredible phenomenon.
The fact that someone that doesn't attribute love with God can say that love isn't just a concept, but it's something physical, means that there is some truth to it, and that's awesome.
Yeah. That's kind of a big realization for me. Just being like I have a relationship with God, and that allows me to have this relationship with some sort of cosmic love or something like that. It's like, but if that's just me, maybe I'm just crazy. But it's not just me.
No.
but I still might be crazy.
Yeah. That's just unrelated.
Yeah. That has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
I think we're close to the end here.
We're past the end. It's fine.
No, it's only been 111 minutes.
Wait,
1 hour and 11 minutes.
I was like, what?
2 hours?
Dude!
So do I end as a villain getting kicked off, or do I say, you know, Jordan, you're really great in the position of leading this podcast?
Scott's going on vacation for a while, so Jordan will probably be taking over for him.
I'm moving back to Washington.
So Jordan's going to be taking over for him
forever.
again for a while.
I'm gonna be the co-host.
Well,
now.
you're gonna be covering for him as co-host
until he comes back.
Okay.
Sorry.